It says you are live. Hi, hello, friends, everybody out there. I just want to say hello. It is Monday. I know a bunch of you on the East Coast are facing storms today. If you are, please put a comment in and let me know how it's going and if it's a winter wonderland or if it feels like a lot right now. So just please comment. Tell me what you think, how it's going. So today, I wanted to say I'm feeling just, let's see, somebody is saying hello, and I am now doing this in a smart way where I hopefully can see the live stream on my phone because, let's see if I can do this. I'm not seeing it yet. All right, well, hello, Facebook user, because you can see here, this is what I'm seeing. So tell me your name so I can say hi directly to you. Anyway, I wanted to come in today to say I'm feeling really a lot of gratitude and I really just appreciate this community. I posted in the group asking what you want to get out of this group, because I haven't done that in a while. And there are three things that I said. One, is it a place where you want to be sharing links to your blog posts, your social media accounts to grow those, grow your traffic, that kind of thing? That's choice A. Choice B is, do you want, oh, it's Renee. Oh, hello there. B is, do you want it as a place where I come on live and do teaching sessions and workshops and we share and talk about what I am seeing new in the world of online business and blogging? And C, is it a place where you want to come and share and build community? And I do lots of posts where I ask people questions like, hey, how long does it take for you to put together a blog post? Or, hey, what's your strategy for this? Or what are you struggling with? Or where we get to really share about our businesses. One thing that I feel is, as online entrepreneurs and bloggers, it can be lonely. I don't know about you, but like my girlfriends don't really know what I do. They think it's kind of cute. They know I do something online, like a mommy blog or something like that. And to have people who really understand your day in and day out, I think there's something so powerful about that. So if you're watching this, please let me know. And if you're watching the replay, that's great too. Do you want a place to share blog posts, share links, grow your followers, that kind of thing is the main focus of what you want. B, to be in a place where you're learning and where I'm sharing and talking about my podcast and talking about what we're experiencing in our coaching groups, in our own businesses. Or C, a place for community and coming together and really just support. So if you don't mind posting that would be really helpful for me as I think about content creation going forward. I wanted to talk about, I would say all of the above. Yes, I understand. But if I were to focus on one over the others, what would that be? That would be my question, just because it gives me a sense of how I can best support you and how I can help mold the group to best support what people are looking for. So that's what I'm really trying to do. As I have my own ideas of what it is, but you're part of this, and I feel like it's all of us co-creating together. I teach that a lot. You put it out there, you think you know, and you put it out as you think you know it, and then you get feedback and ask your people what they're experiencing, what they want more of, what they want less of, and then you continue to build and you continue to serve. Okay, so that's my my thoughts about that. So if you're watching the replay, just put #replay and let me know A, B, or C what you're looking for, because I want to provide it. I wanted to talk about my newest podcast episode, and I meant to share it. Here it is. I'm going to put it in a comment. I thought this was really great. So this was part 2 of this interview I did with a woman named Holly Ann Knight. And we started not planning to do like a part 1 and a part 2, but we just kept talking and there was so much good stuff that I ended up splitting it up. Last week, I posted part 1 where she talks about her journey and her postpartum depression and how that led her to start an Etsy shop, where she had success there, but it was hard to scale because it was just her and she was making quilts and selling them. And then she decided she would start her blog and be a place where people could come and gain knowledge about quilting. And then in part 2, she shared how she figured out what her niche was, which is not quilting. It's a niche within quilting, which is free motion quilting, where you're kind of painting with your sewing machine, which can be kind of intimidating even for people who sew. And she thought, you know what, because what she did was she asked her audience, like what she noticed is when she posted about free motion quilting, she got a tremendous amount of interaction. And so she asked her audience, like, what would you want to learn? And people responded, free motion quilt. I just finished. Oh, let's see. Oh, Chris Ann, let's see. I'm going to show your comment. So good. I love how messy she is, but she's still, yes. And this is exactly what I wanted to talk about today. I also just recorded a podcast interview this morning with a woman named Liz Wilcox, and she is an email marketing person. Okay. Oh, good. You would say how-tos on growing the blog. Great. I love that. That's somebody giving me some feedback. And the thing that I loved about Liz is she too said it's messy. She was saying she put up like an opt-in where she shares, I think, a swipe file of emails. And she said only today, like 14 months later from when she first launched it, did she put her logo on the opt-in. Somebody emailed her and said, you should kind of put your logo on this. And it was just a Word doc. And I love that because that's how I coach. This is the whole idea of B- work. This is the whole idea of you put it out there and you risk being a little embarrassed, but you put it out anyway, because that's the only way you get feedback. And that's the only way you iterate. Like building businesses is all about iterating. And I think part 2 of my episode with Holly Ann talks about that. You don't know going in how something's going to turn out. And so you want to take a step or 2 and then see how people respond, see what's working and what's not, try to come up with new solutions and see if that works. So in Holly Ann's journey, she discovered when she talked about free motion quilting, people really liked it. And she thought, hey, I could really teach this. Now, this is the question I get in my groups all the time. When I say, what are you an expert in? I can tell that people get a little tight and they think, oh no, what if I'm not an expert? Expert is a very intimidating word. So then I'm thinking now of saying, well, what are you really good at? Or what do your friends think you're good at? Because I don't want you to think of expert with a big capital E. I want you to think about it with a small e. And Liz, the woman I interviewed this morning, and I were talking about this too. I say to my coaching group, I want you to be somebody's girlfriend who knows a little bit more than they know about a certain topic. And that's it. And I recommend that the best teachers are the ones who are just a couple steps ahead of you because they still remember all the things that you're dealing with. And that, I think, is what Holly Ann hit. She's like, there are free motion quilters who are much better than me. But I, having gone through this journey and learning this, I can get somebody to start, scared and get them to actually free motion quilt. Oh, wait. Oh, hello from Morocco. Oh, it's so nice to see you. I'm so glad you're here. And that's what I want you to think about. You just have to be a step or 2 ahead of your audience, but you have to have a lot of empathy and understand where they are. For children, I don't know if educators have said this to you, but I remember when my daughter was in preschool and this whole idea of scaffolding came up. And that's the idea that your kid is here and you're here. And if they can learn from a kid who's like a year older, or a kid who has a skill that your kid doesn't have, it puts scaffolding up so that your kid can then learn that skill more easily than, say, from you, who's way up here. So that it's like a stepping stone for your kid, and that was the importance of your kid being exposed to older kids or kids who had different skills, so that kids can learn from other kids rather than just from adults. And a lot of times kids learn quicker from, it's like watching the kid on the monkey bars and being like, I could do that. And then that other, the kid gets up there and learns from the first kid. Well, that's the idea. So when you are an expert, recognize it's with a small e. You're really somebody's best girlfriend with a little bit of extra knowledge. And I think that Holly Ann recognized that and recognized the journey and the transformation she wanted her audience to go through. So how does she build her course? She starts with a free mini course and she promotes it. And really, it was to get email addresses. And guess what? She put it out there and people signed up. And that's the first ding, 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 something's clicking. And this is what you always want to see, where something happens and it happens kind of effortlessly without you having to do a ton of work. You just know when we've had successes, I think that you just immediately see that the pieces are starting to click. And there are times where they don't initially click, and then you can kind of jiggle them and see if you can get them to click, but you're really looking for that easy click. And they're not, it doesn't happen often. It really doesn't. That's the truth. There is a lot of disappointment. A lot of times you're going to do something and put it out there and you're going to think it works and then it doesn't work. And then you can always email me and I will tell you this is part of the process and it's not personal, because it's hard not to take it personally. And so she did this mini course and it worked, and she knew she was onto something. And so she started to build out a course that she would charge for. And she did, and she had success with that. So then she thought, great. Oh, let's see. I'm afraid of no one's Chastita. I get you. I hear you. And that's why I get to be your girlfriend who is like one or two steps ahead of you, who's been down that path and had nobody sign up. And I will help get you out of bed. And I will remind you it is not personal, and it just means you need to try something a little different. So I get you and I hear you. And I'm so happy. Let me share this. I totally understand. Like, my goal in coaching you, because Chastita is part of our coaching group, is to normalize all of those things that feel so personal. And that's really, if I can do that, I feel like I have succeeded. So I want to say, yes, be afraid. And then know you've got a girlfriend who will help you through it. And that it's not, it's not abnormal when nobody signs up. That's kind of the game. That's kind of what you're in it for, is to figure that out. Anyway, but this is what I love about Holly Ann's story. She got her first coaching group up and she created the videos. I think she pre-sold it, which I highly recommend you do. We teach a coaching group 6 weeks. Chastita's in it right now. And when I first did it, I did the exact same thing, which is I kind of put together an outline of what I wanted to teach, and then I sold it. And then I had to now create the content for it. Now I knew what I wanted to teach, but I didn't have any teaching materials. And all I knew, I did make the teaching materials for week 1. And week 1 was, again, finding what you could potentially be an expert in. And then I trusted the universe or whatever that somehow I would know, based on what happened in the first session, that I would know what to teach in the second session. And you know what? It was true. By meeting this group of women who came together to learn, after the first session, I immediately was like, okay, we need to learn how to put together a really solid piece of content that converts, that does something. And it was like, boom. And then I did that session. And then the next one, I'm like, okay, now we need to figure out how to get traffic, which is Pinterest, because the power of Pinterest. I'm like, duh. And then our third week was, let's see for a second. No, so yeah, so that was our third week. So first week was what is your special sauce? Second week is put together a piece of content. Third is how to get traffic to that content. And then I could feel the group and I could feel the fears coming in. And I thought to myself, oh, I need to rejigger this. Week 4, which is, by the way, what we're going to be teaching tomorrow, is about how to get your work done, how to deal with the negative feelings. But I didn't know this when I was first outlining the course. The course kind of spoke to me. The people spoke to me, and I could feel where it was taking me. And I think Holly Ann did the same thing. She had a rough outline of where she wanted the course to go, but then she was just creating it right before it happened. But this is the interesting part. You'd think, wow, she's figured it out. She's going to have tremendous success. And she tried to sell it again, the course, and it didn't work. And a lot of that was because she had this funnel of people, emails, and they had gone through, I think then they actually went through the mini course. And then I think she was teaching some workshops, like one-off workshops that they were paying for weekly. And then she got them into her main course. And then they kind of went through the funnel. And what she had to figure out was how to replenish the funnel so she could continue to pull people into her universe who were interested in free motion quilting, who were struggling, whom she could help. And so she had to take time away while she learned, while she worked on different pieces, because there were so many different moving parts. There's your kind of getting people into your funnel. There is then how to sell to them so they understand the value. Then there is delivering and making sure you are delivering. And these are all different pieces that need to be optimized so they all work together. And I love this. She took a break, kind of like a year, to regroup and work on these different pieces so that when she brought them all together, it clicked. And in her last launch, she brought in $100,000. And one of the things she realized is she befriended people who were also in the knitting space who could sell her course for her to their communities, and then she would give them an affiliate fee. And this is something that today came up in my interview with Liz Wilcox about email marketing. What she said, and I thought this was really cool. I'd never heard this before. When she had a blog where she talked about like RV lifestyle stuff. And she found 2 other bloggers in the exact same space who were these RV kind of off the grid bloggers. And they worked together and they put together like a summit, a virtual summit, which they then launched. And by combining their different audiences, their different expertises, but again, in this overlapping world, they were able to really accelerate their growth. Holly Ann had that same experience. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, who could help me sell my course if I set up an affiliate program who's in the space? So this is that weird thing that I do teach a lot. The internet's a really big place. And the people that you keep an eye on because you think they're your competitors are really not your competitors. Yes, you might have overlapping audiences, but you don't have the same audience. And your audiences can continue to grow, even in a tiny niche. The world is a really big place. The internet is a really big place. And if you could find like a girlfriend who's doing what you're doing, and you guys could work together and you could promote her products and she could promote your products, poof. And so this is what Liz Wilcox said today. The best way, I never heard this. I said, what are some ways to grow your list? And I thought we were just going to talk about opt-ins. And she said, the best thing you can do is to find somebody in your niche who can post about your free opt-in and you post about her free opt-in. Think about it. If I have an opt-in and I go, guys, sign up for my opt-in, right? It's me. And you're like, do I trust her? Is she going to be selling to me? Like, meh. Whereas if I have like my other friend who teaches bloggers to grow their businesses, and she's saying, guys, sign up for, like, Jillian has this awesome opt-in and sign up for her list. It's you probably would be more apt to do it because you would trust this other person remember, I'm trying to build my know, like, and trust, right? I want you to go, wow, Jillian's really trustworthy. Now I am, but you might not know that. And so, but if somebody's vouching for me, this is that idea of social proof. And I thought that was such a good idea. So you better believe that, like, the wheels were spinning in my head of who can I corral to sell my products, and I can then potentially sell their products, or whose opt-in can I promote, and then they can promote my opt-in. So just be thinking about that. One of my tips for this year is believe in abundance. And this is the ultimate in believing in abundance. You will be surprised how, if you can pull together a group of people who are in your space, one, you can share best practices with each other when you start to trust each other. And you can also build on each other's audiences. This is very much the idea on YouTube where people do collabs. So I'm a big YouTuber, you're a big YouTuber, you come on to my video, I come on to your video, I talk to my audience about you, you talk to your audience about me. Like, all these young YouTubers totally understand this. And this is why they have those things called collab houses, where you take a bunch of big YouTubers or a bunch of big TikTokers and you put them in a house together. So they can't help but be collabing on all of their content and therefore accelerating their growth. I thought that was really big. And that's what Holly Ann figured out too. If she got her friends in the quilting space to promote her, she was able to really do this big launch. So, and the other thing, definitely listen to it for this. Holly Ann has a whole structure of how she creates content. I thought this was great. Every week, she does a blog post. Typically, it is a blog post that she had posted a long time ago, a couple years ago, and where she's talking about a technique. And she goes into that post and she updates that post so that she makes better photos or goes through her list of how to structure this post. So she's putting headings in, she's using keywords, she's probably doing an FAQ, all these things that really make your post that much more robust. Then what she does, let's say she posts that on a Monday on her blog. On Tuesday, she goes live in her Facebook, I think on her Facebook page, and she teaches that post. So she's teaching a new sewing technique. She might even have like a PowerPoint presentation or some sort of something, maybe a download, whatever she's offering her audience. But she's now doing the kind of live, in front of her sewing machine, the kind of tutorial. Then what she does, she downloads that video from the live, and that video gets put into that blog post. So remember, the more robust your post is, the more you can have an experience on your post where people stay because they want to watch your video. Google sees this and goes, whoa, time on page. That's a big deal. So that boosts her blog content. Secondly, she then takes that video and she uploads it to YouTube. Right? So now she's got a new video on YouTube, and she then takes it and puts it on IGTV. And then I think she slices and dices it for social media, to have other little pieces. And I thought, oh my God. So I say to her, because here's where I get tripped up. I said, but here's the question. Are you recording this on multiple cameras? Because YouTube, wants things landscape this way, and IGTV wants things this way. What's going on? Like, what are you doing? Are you recording it in both? And she goes, no, all I do is I take the video and I upload it to IGTV. And if people, don't want to see it this way, well, they can turn their phones. And I was like, oh, I love that. Again, it's this idea of like, what are the things that get in our own way? Like Liz Wilcox today, who said, oh, I didn't even have my logo on my download, and it's just a Google Doc. If you sit there and go, gosh, I got to make sure it's recorded in both directions. How am I going to do that? I got to set up this whole thing. It's like, find the easy solution. Eventually, maybe she'll set up a studio and she'll have an iPhone recording it this way and a camera recording it this way. Who knows? But that's a lot. And especially if you're a one-woman show, like you don't need to do that. Do B- work. Get it up there. Get it on IGTV and YouTube. I mean, how awesome. So do listen to the episode for that specifically, because I thought that I was like, yeah, why aren't I doing that? So I will probably download this and put this in the episode, the link that hopefully I share it right here. I'm going to show this. This is the link. You can find this in the comments to go listen to this episode. But there are certain times where I record an episode and I go, that was really good. And I really feel like there are lots of takeaways, So before I press record with somebody, what I say is this, and I hope you guys agree. I say my audience is sophisticated. So what I love are tactics, strategies, stories, but real things that people like. I want you to be in your car listening to the podcast and go, oh shoot, I gotta pull over and write that down. If that is the case, like that's where I feel like, yes, I'm doing what I'm trying to do. If the podcast episode is all platitudes, like you got this girl, you go, that kind of thing, I feel like then, Chris, let's see. I love her. Oh my gosh. Yes. Here, I'm going to share that. Oh my God. Did you really? You listened to it 3 times? I've listened to it twice. I thought it was so smart. And so I will be starting to implement that, because it doesn't seem like it's that hard to do. And why silo yourself? Why do you need to create content that is just for YouTube or content that is just for Facebook? In fact, so I use something called Streamyard, which I recommend. And I am right now streaming this to YouTube, streaming it to my Milo Tree page on Facebook, and streaming it to my group. So is it ideal for YouTube? Maybe not, but could I? Yes, absolutely. Work smarter, not harder. Totally. So it's like, again, am I going to be creating a total new video for YouTube? It'd be great if I could, but if I can't, maybe this is second best, but I'm going to have a video on YouTube because of this. And that's where I think if we can get out of our own way, if we can be a little embarrassed, because the truth is, like, I say this to all of my coaching groups, I want you to risk being embarrassed. And I will be your girlfriend so that if in fact you have something that you're thinking of posting, but you don't want to pull the trigger because you think, oh my God, this is just the worst thing. I say, please email it to me. I'll look at it and I will tell you, kind of like I'll be the girlfriend who tells you if you have spinach in your teeth. You love that girlfriend because she doesn't care and she just wants you to like live your best life and not be embarrassed. So I say, I'll be your girlfriend. I'll let you know if you have spinach in your teeth. I'll let you know if this blog post needs just a little bit more work, or if you could go post it and it's not, unflattering. Like it's like I'm looking at your outfit going like, do you look big in that or no? And I'm going to be like, no, that really works for you. Go for it. So that is what I do. And I say to my coaching group, like, hey, I'll be there for you, but I'm going to push you to be embarrassed, to put it out there with it being a little bit rough, to not have the right orientation of your video on IGTV, and to go, you know what, my audience can handle it. That is my biggest takeaway. That is how I think you don't burn out, how you learn fast, how you stay in the game, and how you hopefully some of those lessons seep in so that you don't have to hold yourself to that perfect standard in all the other areas of your life. You go, I took that risk in my business. Nothing happened. People didn't like unfriend me. It was okay. Maybe in my personal life, I don't have to be so perfect all the time or hold myself to this unrealistic standard. I want everybody to just kind of, and I have to remind myself about this all the time, imperfect action every day. I had a Post-it on my desk that said imperfect action every day. Now it's not there. Actually, it was on our big whiteboard. And that's what I am a big believer in. So please do some imperfect action and just get moving. So I thought that Holly Ann's story was really honest and really inspiring. And she's the first one to say, I didn't have it all figured out, but little by little, I was able to put the pieces together, but it wasn't linear. It was, she built something and it worked, then it stopped working and she had to take a break to rethink about it, to kind of process it, to like step back and think about all the different pieces and how she could put them back together. And that, I think, is what I hope you guys also take away from this recording. It takes a while. It takes some time, brainstorming in the shower. That's where I tend to get some of my best ideas. And it can be frustrating and it might not work out the way you think it will, but trust your audience to let you know and start building. That's what I want to say. So a couple things as I wrap up. One, if you like this group, please invite your friends to join it. The larger we are, the more we can build this really awesome community. And that's really my hope. And my hope is to kind of shine the light on you, which is why, again, I want to know what you want. So again, I'm going to ask the question, do you want a place to share content, like kind of to drop links and grow? Two, do you want stuff like this where we dig in and we really dissect what's working and why? And we talk about life and we talk about building businesses and we talk about the mess. That's B. And C is a community and a place for support and for guidance and for hearing from other bloggers about what their process is about. So those are the things. If you would put that in a comment, that would be super helpful for me as I continue to build out this group. I appreciate everybody who has come here live and also all of you who are watching the replay. I hope this is inspiring. If you have any questions about anything, please reach out to me. You can just, Chastity, okay, B and C. That's so interesting. So I would have thought, I just will tell you what I'm seeing so far today. I would have thought it was more A. And actually, people are talking about B and C. B, interesting. Okay, so my question is, would you want more Facebook Lives like this? I typically do them on Mondays, but would you want them on Mondays and Fridays, for example, when we talk about a different topic about business building? I'm going to actually put a question in about that. So let me know how you are always oh my gosh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I don't know who this is because let's see if I can figure it out. Oh, for sure, B. Okay. So I think that I'm learning something today. I thought it was going to be A, and it seems like it's more about showing up and learning together. So very cool. All right. So you guys, thank you for showing up. So maybe this week on Friday, I could be doing this again. And if you are on Clubhouse, follow me, please, because I'm doing some stuff over there at Jillian Leslie. Super easy to find. I was just reading an article that Elon Musk was on Clubhouse yesterday and kind of broke the internet. So I think that's interesting. Okay, let's see. So Chris Ann is saying B, then C. So interesting. Very helpful. Chris Ann, thank you for always showing up. I so appreciate you. I really do. And Chris Ann, maybe you would be one of those people who I can share your opt-in and you could share my opt-in. See, look at me learning, look at me growing. So tell me, Chris Ann, what you think about that. Message me and we'll see. And if there is anybody who would want to do that with me, let me know. And if there are people in your space who you think you should reach out to, go reach out to them and start helping each other grow your lists. I think that's brilliant. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe, stay warm. And guess what? I think I'm going to show up more here. So thank you for the feedback. And if you're watching the replay, just put hashtag replay so I know. All right, take care.